Hi, and welcome to the Fit for Any Battle podcast. This is episode number 10, coming to you from the hike and bike trail on the Austin's Ladybird Lake or Town Lake, depending on how long you've been in Austin. This is the trail that goes right by where the old Holly Street power plant used to be, and this is where our story picks up. It was Monday of this week that I was having a hard time going to sleep. So about 9:30, I decided to take our small dog Muffin to go for a walk around the trail. It was 9:15, 9:30, maybe 9 o'clock, somewhere around there. Not too late, but it was quite dark. And as I entered this area of the trail, it got brighter because there were lights on the trail. Off to the left, about 150 feet up, I saw a man chopping with a machete, literally chopping something on the ground. When I came out of the dark area and into the well-lit area, he looked over to see me, and that's when I realized this man did not want to have me nearby. So I told Muffin, let's turn around and go back the other way. So we started walking back the other way. I looked back to just check in on the man because he had a machete. And sure enough, he was following me. He was walking with the machete. And as I turned around to check on him, that's when he used the expletive, "Are you scared of me, MF?" and started swinging the machete around. That's when I started running. And Muffin did too. Muffin has 3-inch legs. He was cranking really fast. I didn't have Muffin on a leash. And I started running. Then I looked back, and the man with the machete is running after me. My heart rate was going probably 200 beats a minute. I was scared for my life. I was in flip-flops. I had our small dog with me. I had my phone, the flip-flops, Muffin's leash, and Muffin. That was it. Nothing to protect myself with. And as I ran, I started calling 911. 911 answered. I explained where I was on the trail, and they started asking questions like, what does the man look like? What clothes does he have on? I looked back to check and see how close he was, and I realized that by talking on the phone, I wasn't running as fast as I needed to, and he was gaining on me. So I hung up with the operator on 911 and kept running. Now, we got up to a point where I was able to make a left turn and put a building in between his view of me and Muffin. And then I made another right turn to get away from the area and hope that he would get confused as to where I was and stop coming after me. I entered into the neighborhood that we live in. I made sure that he wasn't following me, so I wasn't bringing somebody with a machete back to my home. Popped inside the house. And about a minute later, I get a call from a wireless number, and it was one of the police officers that was responding to the incident. He asked for my address, said he'd be there in 2 minutes, and sure enough, 2 minutes later, he arrived. Next thing I knew, there were 7 police cars, 14 different officers. Because this is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or attempted aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, they called in the helicopter. They talked about whether or not they were going to use live fire or beanbags. They asked me if I was able to, pick the person out of a lineup. And because the light was coming from behind the gentleman, I couldn't see his face. So there's no way that I was going to pick him out of a lineup. So they basically just went around looking for a man in a hoodie and baggy fitting jeans that had a machete. They couldn't find the man with the machete. And so eventually called me at about midnight and said they were calling the search off. By then, I had calmed myself down. Muffin was fast asleep after his half-mile run, and I finally got myself to bed. Prior to doing so, I explained what happened to my wife. She went back to bed. I went back to bed, and the next morning I woke up feeling like I was one of those characters in a movie where in the first few seconds, a man is jogging along with his dog, and the serial killer comes up and just cuts the dude in half. Get no lines, don't get any quality time on camera, and that's exactly what I felt like. For those of you Star Trek fans, I felt like I was the person in the red shirt. It was really, really frightening. But it does prove a point. In flip-flops, I was able to outrun somebody with a machete. I'm just about to turn 50. I'm halfway through chemotherapy treatments for an aggressive prostate cancer. But because of the Fit for Any Battle workout that I use every day, I'm able to take care of the newest battle, which is Battle Machete. So this is interesting about Austin's hike and bike trail, and I'm going to divert off of the topic onto that for just a moment here. And it is that my wife and kids went to go pick up some breakfast today, and they were talking to a person who had explained that he was chased yesterday on the hike and bike trail by a man with a chainsaw. So it seems like we've upped from machetes to chainsaws. The good news is with the Fit for Any Battle workout program, you will be able to outrun chainsaws, hunting knives, machetes, people throwing large rocks, a variety of different things. So I would encourage you to go to fitforanybbattle.com, download the mobile app on your device, pick up the book, and let's get you ready for your future health battle or future battle with someone who might have a deadly weapon. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the effects that I have been receiving, or not receiving in that case, with the Taxotere, because I'm just about to have my fourth, I'm going to get to my 4th out of 6 treatment coming up on Wednesday. So stay tuned. The sponsor for today's Fit for Any Battle podcast is Update Everyone. Going through cancer treatment has been really tough. Keeping everybody in my support group updated has all of its own challenges. With Update Everyone, they assign me a telephone number, and I send a simple text message to that phone number with an update on how things are going. They then send it to every single person in my support group without me having to do a thing. No more Twitter messages, no more Instagram messages, no more Facebook messages, no more Facebook posts, not even a simple SMS to every single person on my support group. So with Update Everyone, I send one message and I get back to healing. You can too. Go to updateeveryone.com. Welcome back. So let's start talking about where we're at. Machete stories behind us, and hopefully you don't see anybody coming behind me here with a machete as we get into the next part. I have been using these 24 karat gold, although I don't think they're made of 24 karat gold, eye patches that are supposed to take dark circles and wrinkles and stuff out from underneath our eyes. And I just wore them this morning, and my eyes look great. Drastic improvement. So I told you that I would follow up with you as I kept using these things to see if they're actually helping. And they are. I don't feel as self-conscious about bags under my eyes, about dark circles under my eyes, because even though I'm getting good sleep, the Taxotere seems to be just causing a lot of dark circles around my eyes. Now, the next thing you'll notice is my hair. My hair's looking pretty good. It's still pretty small compared to what it was before I started Taxotere. However, it hasn't been falling out. And in fact, my beard is staying on there too. That little part that fell off of my mustache up here, it's fine. I haven't really noticed anybody saying that I look like I'm losing my hair. People just don't even recognize it. Now, I did notice something when I looked at the picture that was me prior to starting Taxotere, and it turns out all of my dark hair and my beard fell out. So now I'm just left with the grays. Hopefully, after Taxotere stops and after the hair follicles recover, I'll get some of those darker hairs back. Otherwise, I'm going to be quite a gray bearded man as that hair comes back. Secondly, talking about hair, the hair on my legs continues to be gone, and it's slowly but surely working itself up into my pelvic region. The hair follicles that are left, if I pull on them lightly, they just pop out. As I said in previous episodes, it's almost as if the follicle and the hair that's in it, the follicle is just holding it. It's not really growing and it's not really attached to the follicle. So when we pull on it, it just pops right out. The other thing is my eyebrow, where I lost a little bit of the eyebrow, it hasn't continued. So I'm getting to keep my eyebrows, my eyelashes, the hair on my arms has stayed. It's just my legs that have lost hair besides my beard and my top of my head. The other thing that is important for us to note is diet. When I started this podcast series, I talked about having a macrobiotic diet and using Plenty Shake on a regular basis. Well, since I haven't really had a lot of side effects from Taxotere, I haven't had to change my diet. It's fantastic. I'm able to eat whatever I want, although with prednisone that is given with abiraterone acetate to help keep the testosterone levels down, it brings with it that ferocious appetite that I talk about on a regular basis on the podcast. And sure enough, that ferocious appetite is actually helping me a bit because my weights at the gym are going up. I am stronger than I was a few weeks ago. I want you to hear that. I'm getting stronger through chemotherapy treatment. This is unusual. And I chalk it up to the fact that I work out all the time. When I'm feeling down or I'm feeling that wave of yuck that is coming on shore, I just get up and I go do something. Whether it's a bike, whether it's a walk, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's swimming, something. Getting our bodies moving means that that lymphatic fluid is moving around our system, and that is helping us feel better. The Taxotere is causing a reduction in the white blood cells being generated in the middle of our bones. Now, Neulasta, the thing that I talked about where they put it onto my belly just after treatment, and 24 hours later it gives me an infusion of Neulasta, that is keeping my white blood cell count up. And I have not had the Neulasta bone pain that I talked about in previous episodes. So on a regular weekly basis, if you ask me how I'm feeling, I oftentimes forget that I'm dealing with aggressive prostate cancer. I oftentimes forget that I'm going through 6 rounds of chemotherapy followed by 2 months of daily radiation therapy. And at this point, I'm halfway done, as I said previously in other episodes. And on Wednesday of this coming week, I get my 4th out of 6. So I will be 66% of the way done with chemotherapy. And I'm doing great. And I know you can too. Now, coming up next, we're going to talk about just a few little things that you might want to add to your daily regimen. And yes, I've been stacking on things to the daily regimen, but we'll talk about all of that coming up. Stay tuned. The sponsor for today's Fit for Any Battle podcast is Feelalytics. With Feelalytics, I can generate different versions of video content, have a select group of people review it, and give me real-time feedback on which parts of it work and which don't to determine which content to publish for my podcast. With Feelalytics, it saves me tons of time on production and other costs because I know which content works for which people. So, go today to Feelalytics.com and check it out. Welcome back to the Fit for Any Battle podcast. You may be wondering why this shirt was picked for today. In fact, this shirt is Operation Turkey. Operation Turkey was started in Austin in 2000 with one meal. This year, we are going to feed 15% of the U.S. homeless population a warm Thanksgiving meal. If you're interested in joining us, stop by OperationTurkey.com and sign up for a volunteer. Sign up as a volunteer. So back to what I was talking about before. There are some adjustments that I have made to my regimen to accommodate new things that I'm finding. I was listening to Andrew Huberman talk the other day, and he was talking about how when we go into a fast overnight, meaning we eat dinner and then we go to sleep, our body goes into a recovery mode. Well, as we wake up, putting food right in our bellies right off the bat is not a good thing. we can actually leverage that fast to get additional power out of it. And so what I've been doing is I have a stationary bike in my office. After I wake up, I come downstairs and I've been biking about 5 minutes, sometimes 3 to 5 minutes, but roughly about 5 minutes. And what Andrew Huberman says is, do it like somebody is chasing you with a syringe filled with poison. But in my case, I just think about the dude chasing me with the machete. And so I get on the bike, I power through as hard and as fast as I can for about 3 to 5 minutes. And that stimulates a lot of great things in our body, including the burning of fat. So that's one of the things that I've been doing. However, if you think about it, we have the hot tub, the cold plunge, the sauna, red light therapy. Now we're adding the morning, just crank on the bike. I've been doing morning walks. That's a lot of stuff to fit into our schedule. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to do everything every day. Just do one or a few. So in the mornings, I wake up, I'm going to do the bike, pound through that. Then I'm going to grab the dogs and go for a walk. And then I'm done for the day until such time as either in the evening I go for a bike ride or I go to the gym and lift weights. Now, the Fit for Any Battle workout program is amazing for keeping injuries down or eliminating them completely. I had a really big problem with my shoulder about 6 months ago, and it was really, really sore. So on a lot of the shoulder exercises, I moved the weights down and then started working back up through it, just like the Fit for Any Battle workout specifies. And my shoulder is feeling good. My rotational aspects are in complete parity with my other shoulder. The other thing I had was I had a wrist injury from skateboarding with our youngest son. I, at 49, decided that I needed to stop skateboarding because every time I did, I was falling. I might hurt my wrist. I might hurt my elbow. I might hurt my shoulder, even though I'm fully padded up. We're getting older. We have to sometimes decide things that we need to turn down or turn off in our daily activities. And skateboarding was one of those ones that I had to stop. However, the injuries prevailed. I injured myself and it took a little while, but I actually got better by working out at the gym using the Fit for Any Battle workout program. And I would encourage you to do so as well. It's not just about getting our bodies ready for future health battles. It's also about setting up that parity of strength across our body. Because if you can imagine, we use, in my case, my right hand is my dominant hand. I'm using it to write. I'm using it to use my mouse. I'm using it to throw things. I'm using it to open doors. So my right side of my body is building up a lot of muscle mass, and it's learning how to compensate for doing all of these activities. Rarely do I open doors with my left hand, write, throw, whatever it is with my left hand. And so there's a discrepancy in my body that when I go work out at the gym, the design is to bring the muscle strength up on both sides. So as we get later in life, we're not crouching to one side. We're not favoring one side. It's about balancing our body. And then as we balance our body, we increase the strength of our body together, which allows us to do things like fending off a person with a machete. So last week, I talked about brain fog. And funny thing is, I had mentioned that the next podcast was going to be after chemotherapy number 4. That was the brain fog kicking in. This is the next episode, the one just before it. So coming up next week, I will be recording the podcast a little later. It'll probably be on the 13th or 14th of March. And the brain fog has cleared up for the most part. So as you can tell, that brain fog was about like 1.5, maybe 2 weeks at most. It came from the Taxotere, and it's a normal side effect. However, in my case, I'm doing great now. The brain fog is cleared. I have clarity, mind, body, and soul. And now it's all about getting it back into the gym and continuing to build up for future health battles. So I will see you on the 13th or 14th. Thanks for your time today. Have a great one.